Alright guys, introducing Context7, which is another MCP server that you can use to get most updated documentation for any libraries that you use in your code bases. So let's go through the video real quick. Let's go to the MCP server over here. So what Context7 MCP does is provides up-to-date documentation for any prompt that you want to add. That will be any model that you can use, Claude or Gemini or any other model that you want to use for editing. So basically the problem that Context7 solves is LLMs rely on very outdated and generic information about the libraries you use. So you basically get code examples that are outdated and basically are based on very old training data. What happens as a context is you basically get out of topic examples, outdated examples, and basically the AI hallucinates a lot because it has no up-to-date information on the actual code base. So how you use is you basically pass the web URLs in the cursor or even the doc URL, which used to create documentation and refer documentation and links to the cursor, so it has got some context around what exactly feature is building. But the thing is, it's too efficient because with MCP Context7 you can pretty much pull up-to-date and version specific documentation with the code examples straight out of the source. So how you will prompt it out is basically create a basic Next.js project with app router and use Context7. So this is where you will be able to use this MCP server to be able to generate very update information and very up-to-date code in your project. So let's get straight into the topic. So what you need to do is you can install via Smithery, or you can install in Cursor using this MCP context MCP server over here. So I got this command. I already have installed a bunch of MCP servers. So let me also install Context7 because I'm using Cursor. You can also try other alternative methods which are One, Dino, Windsurf, anything that you prefer using in your day-to-day programming route. Okay, so let's go into the topic. I got Cursor over here. I'll go to Cursor settings, and then basically I'll just add MCP. So you have 81 tools from enable server. Too many tools can trigger performance, and this. Okay, I'll add a tool anyways over here. Now I'll just add another MC server, which is gonna be the Context7. I'll just save the file. Okay, and then once I go to Cursor, it should, by the way, this Docker is not installed. So you see Context7 is now enabled. Okay, so I can pretty much start using this. This has got two tools, which is Resolve Library ID and this has got Get Library Docs. Okay, so you can pretty much start using this MC server right away once you install it using any of the command that you are using. So let's use Context7 to improve the community base that I have in my startup over here. So I want to change few designs over here because I don't see a lot of animations over here. I want to make it more intuitive. So let's use Context7 to get the most updated information on this library, which is Tailwind CSS Animate, which has got completed the indexing almost a week ago, and we have close to 19,000 tokens getting used for the entire documentation. Okay, so let's use something on the animation. So I'll pretty much search for animation. It's got a lot of context over here, which I can copy paste to my cursor. Okay, if I just want to pass in some examples. So let's go to Cursor. I've got Cursor over here. Okay, so I want to improve the UI UX for community page. This is community page community. Okay, let's do it step by step using animation, using Tailwind Animate, use Context7 MCP. So I'll pass in the context. I'll mention specifically I want to use Context7 MCP. So what we'll do is basically try to plan everything out over here. Now let's try to enhance UI UX for the community app. Let's try to give an MCP call. So what it did was basically resolving Context7 Tailwind Animate CSS the library. It got all the context. Now I have the structure of the community. Okay, and now it's time to get the documentation for library as well. So see, title, implementing exit animations for all the classes. Now it got all the documentation ready, whatever you can use. So what it did was basically did some changes, which is animate page load. So let's start by adding a simple fade in animation to the content area, and then I've also added a fade in effect main content where user is logged in. Okay, so it is also suggested that animate the community hub title to slide in, and add two animations to topic list and login. Let's subset all the changes. I go and check back on my page. So if you see over here, this basically loads properly and then gives a skeleton progress bar over here. This is quite good because everything looks out quite smooth, and this was all possible with the latest stock because I used Context7. Had I not used this MCP server over here, it would have given me some vague documentation, or either I could have resolved it to the doc, the doc method of adding context, or the web method of adding context to the cursor. So this is how you can use Context7 to get most updated information. Also, there are many information and many libraries which Context7 supports at the moment. One of it is Nuxt. So if you go and check on Nuxt.js, this is the Nuxt library. Again, pretty straightforward. Everything is so updated that you get pretty much all the updated code bases, so there would be no hallucinations and anything of that sort. So hope you like this video. If you need any sort of thing, and by the way, it's completely free to use. If you go to the about section, you get real working code examples from the source, consistent and relevant information with no filter, and it's completely free to use for personal use. So that's all it on the video. If you like the video, please comment on the video. If you need anything help, I'll be there to help. And if you want to build anything serious about AI, just join this community. I teach you everything on how to build with AI. So that's it.